You have seen a short clip of this same radio on my channel. That was just a small impression of this model. A model with a sad history. I bought it on a second-hand marketplace online, and I know how fragile this radio is because I had this in my youth. And when you picked it up too fast, it would go off, and then you had to shake it a few times and it would go on again. I've used this radio, it was the first radio I ever got, and I used it for about a year or two, and then it just blew up. So this Philips B3X00U from 1960, it came to me even asking if it will be proper packed. It came in a plastic bag, and the radio did survive in some sort, but well, this is going to happen when you are putting a radio like this in a plastic bag. It came to me like this, and this was worse. This was open, and I tried to glue this, but it came apart after a few weeks. This plastic is very hard to fix. It's very breakable because of the tubes being so close to the edges. So well, I was very mad that the radio was coming in holes and all pieces of plastic. I gathered around, I put them in a small case, and did not look at the radio for about a half year because I was very infuriated that, well, someone makes a promise and they just send it in a plastic bag with just one flimsy layer of bubble wrap around it. So after a half year, I took it apart, and I had some luck. The valves inside, there are 4 of them. They had survived his rough ordeal, but it was not working. It's still not working for a full 100%. I have to restore all the capacitors inside, but I have to have some 400 volt capacitors because it's a tube monitored radio. Also the 230 volts is regulated by a tube, so there's no transformer inside. So it's going to be restored, but and the fact that it's missing its chrome edges, well, that's most common with these radios. That was not a problem to me. The problem was that the radio came in bits and pieces. So I took it apart, and as I said, the valves were, luckily they survived, but the radio just hummed. So after a few taps with a screwdriver on the print, I managed to find the connection being broken, and I soldered it back together, and all of a sudden it started to receive trans stations again. So I was very happy, but there is still a bit of a hum in the sound, as you can also hear in the short video. It's a radio with 3 wavebands: shortwave, long wave and mid-wave. It has a tone control, that's here, with 2 settings for music and for speech or talking programs, on and off, and volume button, band switch, and of course the tuning. That's about it. It has a special designed flat speaker with a very nice sound to it, and on the back also a lot of damage. As you can see, you can hardly see. Here is the antenna and the earth bussing, and on this side, as you can see, the radio is hanging really not in a good position, but it's better than it was. the pickup connector, a really strange Phillips connector. They used that a lot in the 50s and the 60s, but never seen it on other brands. So it's really a Phillips connector. So, well, that's the story about this B3X00U in short. Let's turn it on. I have to say, a lot of the switches are still crackling because I have not cleaned it yet. So let's see what it does. It always gives a bit of a head start with the scale lighting, and then after a while, when it warms up, here it comes. I should get some stations on it now. Dial was a bit stuck. It's actually not so bad, not so good here. Film control. It makes a lot of noise. So it actually is working, and it picks up a lot of noise. Of course, I'm in a concrete building with a lot of steel, so I'm not picking much up here. Let's look at long wave. That's what I mean, the switch is a bit dirty. As you can see, I still have to pick something. Short wave. It actually catches something, but not. I really have to clean it, as you can hear it. It makes a lot of crackling noise. But the sound quality is pretty good. I don't like this setting. It's way too bright for this kind of band. It's still working, but the short wave and the long wave need to be fixed. It need to be clean, and as always, as I said, but the sound quality is pretty good, as I can remember. So well, it needs some repairing, some recapping, and then it will be fine again. But well, I cannot do much about the casing. It's really a shame. But well, that's the 1960s Philips B3X00U.